Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another one of my video game reviews. One of my followers, Derek S., had requested me to review a video game series that he'd been requesting me to review for quite some time now. I'm going to be reviewing the Tony Hawk's Underground series. Since this is the anniversary weekend of Tony Hawk's Underground, I'm definitely going to review that game. Not just the first or second game, but both. I've been wanting to review any Tony Hawk game for quite some time, whether it's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater or Tony Hawk's Underground. And Derek S., if you're watching, you're going to get your wish. This is my review of Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2. Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2 are skateboarding video games and the 5th and 6th entries after Tony Hawk's Pro Skater of the Tony Hawk's series, after Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Both games were developed by Neversoft and published by Activision. Tony Hawk's Underground was released in North America on October 27, 2003, and in Europe on November 21st. Tony Hawk's Underground 2 was released in North America on October 4th, 2004, and the PAL version was released on October 8th. The Tony Hawk's Underground series built upon the skateboarding formula of previous Tony Hawk's games. The players explore levels and complete goals while performing tricks. It features a new focus of customization, players creating a custom skater instead of selecting a pro skater. The plot in Tony Hawk's Underground is the player's creator and his best friend Eric Sparrow becoming professionals and grow apart. And the plot in Tony Hawk's Underground 2 is when Tony Hawk and Bam Margera kidnap and take the player's characters to a dark room of pro skaters, including the character's friend turned rival Eric Sparrow, as they explain their plans for their debut World Destination Tour, where both teams compete for points. The positive of Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2, the soundtrack of both games are phenomenal, especially the hip-hop selection. Both games allowed characters to perform tricks and earn points, and the storyline from both games are fantastic. The negative I have for Tony Hawk's Underground is 21 years later, people still don't know how to get past the cops by jumping over the bridge. I'm not a huge fan of the Tony Hawk's Underground series or any Tony Hawk games, but I enjoyed playing them as a kid, and I still enjoy playing them now. So if you have not played the Tony Hawk's Underground series, I will highly recommend it to you because it is as good as the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series. I would love to see them remaster the Tony Hawk's Underground series and put it on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the Switch. Both Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2 gets an official rating of a 10 out of 10. Next month, I'm going back to my Super Nintendo games. I'm going to be reviewing Bugs Bunny Rabbit Rampage for the Super Nintendo, since this February has been 30 years since the game was released. What do you think about Tony Hawk's Underground series looking back on it 20 plus years later? Thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good night and take care. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. No more talk.